So we'll kind of just get rolling and get things fresh. So why don't you guys introduce yourself so that way everybody knows who you are.
Yep, I'm Justin Reece from Rusty Nail Racing, Ridgeway, Colorado.
And I'm Cameron Reece, the co-driver of Rusty Nail Racing and Justin's little brother.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, connecting that together. So sibling-wise, it's just the two of you guys then?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a stepbrother and a stepsister, another Justin.
Okay.
Gets confusing at times. And a sister, Katie.
I bet. Okay, wonderful.
And he's always been bigger than me and taller, and so that's always had to make me faster. So I can get away from him.
So a few noogies have happened and a few apples, right? Okay, fantastic. So, tell us your first initial reaction whenever you guys saw the 4619 scale replica truck that was built by our RC4 Drive Australian team driver, Ben Ludgater.
So my initial reaction, I've been around RC cars and seen a lot of really well done, and the attention to detail just blew me away. And then the more I got into it, I just couldn't believe the attention to detail is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was possible to build something like that much detail and that close to the real thing, the exact placement of stickers and sizing. We were blown away. Far exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, that's awesome. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. So, racing can encompass a wide variety of styles. There's drag racing, there's drifting. What gravitated you guys to the desert rock crawling type of racing?
So I'll back up just a little bit. I mean, when I was a kid, I had an old Land Cruiser, and I just kind of naturally got into four-wheeling and camping, and that progressed into pretty tough rock crawling. And I was coming down here since the late 90s, and eventually got tied in with a group of guys that were wheeling out here a bunch, and they said, you want to come out to this little event called King of the Hammers? And I volunteered my first year, and then the very next year I begged and pleaded with Dave Cole to let me in when it was an invitation race, and I raced a Land Cruiser that year because I just had to be part of it. It just gets in your blood.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. What about you, Cameron?
Well, I've been rock crawling with him since we were teenagers, like he was saying, and the first year that I came down, I was his crew chief for his first race team. And then I think it was 2016, he said, why don't you come get in the car with me? I said, it would be really cool if we did this as brothers. And so ever since then, I've been in the car doing not only King of the Hammers, but Moab and national championships. And it's been an awesome adventure.
That's awesome. Very cool. So, the Rusty Nails Racing is very much a grassroots team, right? It's amazing to see the support that surrounds the team. I mean, we can see it here with everything that you guys have set up. Can you tell us a bit about everyone involved here?
Yeah, so most of them come from all over the country, and it really started with almost pure wildland firefighters. That's what I do for a living, and mostly Toyota enthusiasts. So they kind of just came out of the rock crawling and Toyota and firefighting world.
Yeah. Okay. What's one of the guys that's here? What's the farthest that they're coming from?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'd say Florida is probably the farthest I've heard.
Yeah.
Wow.
People coming from Florida to come down and join the team. They're coming, on their own dime, their own vacation time off work, paying for their own gas. So,
just want to come and be a part of the organization, the fun, the camaraderie, and stuff like that, huh?
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's awesome. So, you guys took first place in 2019.
Yep.
You guys took first place in 2020, right? 2021, right? So, what kind of pressure is on you guys for 2022 here?
That is a good question, and there absolutely is. I mean, I can feel it in me a little bit today, and it's been a build up all week. But I just got to keep telling myself what I've been telling myself for years, especially when you're racing in a really tough class to begin with, and then I probably have less horsepower. I definitely have less horsepower than all the Jeeps. But it's you just got to keep telling yourself, stick to what you know, stick to what's worked. We've put that equation together many times. And, stick to the game plan. Don't let any of the other stuff get you fuzzed up. Just go with your game plan and go with your foundation. You know, and I know what works in this race for sure.
Right. Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about the relationship between the driver and co-pilot, because we know that that's a very integral part of this whole thing. Is there ever a moment that you guys are at odds with each other during a race?
That's a cool question. And yes, there are times that you're at odds.
Okay.
For me, it's mostly in the rocks, because even if he's out of the car, most of the time I feel like I probably know the line anyways, and if he wants me to go somewhere else, I got to trust him. And I catch myself in the desert trying to get a peek at the GPS. Like, I'll ask him, like, are we still on course? We're good here? And he's yelling, yeah, and I got to look over there and take a peek. Keep him honest.
That's funny. That's real funny. Cameron, how about you, buddy?
Which I have gotten us lost a couple times, so I think that I have to stay on course to rebuild his trust. But yeah, definitely trust. There are some times we're coming down an obstacle where he can't see anything. I remember a time we were coming down back door and guiding him down, and he just had to totally trust me to fall off the ledge of back door, and came down, and the driving ability that he had to hit his nose down and then hit the gas and get out of there, like, saved me and made me look good, but he still had to trust me to get to that point.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. Thank you. From a race perspective, is there a reason you guys chose the 1985 Toyota truck?
Well, it definitely wasn't going to be a Jeep for me. I'm a Toyota guy. So it had to be a Toyota. And I like things that are simple. And I think that, that's been proven now in 4600 class. I didn't know that at the time, but I wanted to start with something simple. Somebody that had proved it before we did this was Randy Slauson with the Bombers. I mean, his is the simplest of all the unlimited cars. And I like that methodology. I think Toyota in general builds cars like that, well thought out and simple. So that it had to be a Toyota for me. The Land Cruisers are tempting, but they're just too big for a race like this in the rocks.
Yeah, a little heavy too, right?
Yeah. They are extremely heavy and underpowered.
I gotcha. So, tell us how many Toyotas were sacrificed in the making of the 4619 truck throughout its years here.
Have you ever seen the Dukes of Hazzard?
So a lot.
Yeah, it's a little bit like making that show.
Yeah, so is it like new fenders and new doors every year?
Well, the fenders are so thin you can usually pound them out, and they get a few good dents in them, but eventually it's like an open tuna can and it's a safety hazard. So
Yeah.
it gets for anybody.
Gotcha. So maybe one day this truck is going to be a museum piece sitting in the Peterson, right?
That would be amazing. I think if we beat Team Ford this weekend, it has a good chance of getting in there.
There you go. That would be awesome. Very good. So, tell me a little bit about the preparation process for an event like the King of the Hammers for you guys.
You want me to go first? Yeah. So it just starts with what we know is wrong with the car, if it has any issues, and addressing that. So I already know it's going to be leaf spring bushings. We just blow through those like they're going out of style, so we know that's there. And then we go through an entire list of what else we're going to rebuild. And I try to do every nut and bolt, every King of the Hammers. But I've kind of gotten on this cycle where I can do axles 1 year, transmission transfer cases the next year, as long as everything's still working good. And then every other nut and bolt, the seats come out. It's gutted down to a million pieces. I'm pretty sure I can put this thing together blindfolded.
Wow. That's interesting. How about you?
Yeah, I love going up to his house. He lives 2 hours away from me, so usually it's on weekends that I get to go up there. And once we get closer to the race, it becomes every other weekend, then every weekend, and then sometimes go up on a Wednesday. And he's definitely the shop boss there, and I do what I can and help him. But he's really trusted me with putting like front axles together a lot more. So he has way more mechanical ability than I do, and he works on it almost every single night, and something in the shop right after work. So, but I love going up to his house. We've really bonded well, and I mean, my wife has been really patient with me going up there, and then his wife Kelly has been really patient for me coming up, and then taking her husband away from him and working in the restaurant.
Right. Yeah. So as far as like tearing it down, it's kind of like a RC car almost. You know, you're just tearing everything off of it, going through it, you know, re-greasing, oiling, whatever, and putting it all back together. Huh?
Absolutely, and inspecting. When you take it apart, everything's great. That's awesome. Clean it up, grease it, and put it back together just like these.
Yeah. That's cool.
An example of something that he's so meticulous, and he double and triple checks things. Like we were putting the front drive line on, and it just wasn't fitting right. Where I think some racers out here would like really impact that wrench that down just to get it snug, to where he just didn't like it, so he had to finagle with it. He finagled with it for a couple hours, and then finally got it to fit perfectly where he was good, so it was flush with the flange of the transfer case. I think just he's so meticulous in his prep. That's why we're so successful today.
That's awesome. Very cool. So Cameron, I'm going to let you start this one. Who do you think is the better RC rock crawler driver between the two of you?
Well, that is, I actually have proof that I am. We have RC races at his house, and I've won more than he has in RC race world. But he was better than me at the beginning, but I think my race prep on my RC car, I've been able to outlast him.
Yeah.
So you spend more weekends working on RC cars leading up to those festivities, right?
Exactly.
The RC track is a great release at our house. I mean, if you need a break from the shop, we got a little course set up, and you just go, let's go wheeling for a couple hours. You know?
Yeah, that's cool. Very awesome. So, having been experienced participants of this event for so long, is there any advice you'd give to first-time King of the Hammer enthusiasts?
Yeah. As far as spectators?
Yes.
Come out and get familiar with the area, but get out away from Chocolate Thunder and the real close stuff. Go explore the desert in the spots that it's okay to be a spectator in. But it's cool to see the big crowds, but go see the whole desert. There's more to it than the 2 or 3 obstacles that are close to town.
Yeah. Wonderful.
My advice would be, our teams, we love when people come up and like chat us up and talk and ask questions. And I know there's a lot of off-road teams too. And so don't be afraid to go up to race teams and say, hey, that's an awesome car. What did you do here? Because they want to share their success. I know the 4600 class, the spirit of the class is like helping each other get to the finish line. And there's no big like top secrets or anything.
Right. Yeah, you know, what it amazes me is how different King of the Hammers is from any other type of racing format out there. You know, we're in the desert, we're having fun. But you can, like you said, go right up to any race team. You go right up to Hammertown, and you can see, you know, all the tech that's going on, everything else that's happening there, and that's a very cool experience for sure. So,
yeah. I mean, you guys saw it today. Being down at Technical Contingency, you can go right up, touch the cars, and talk to the drivers. It's a cool experience for people.
Yeah, for sure. So, tell me the story behind the interesting unicorn nail campsite logo that's on the top of the RV over there.
One of our pit crew guys builds all that kind of stuff for the Denver Zoo, and he just showed up with it.
So that's I know you guys told us the other day, like, hey, if you guys see the unicorn on top of the thing, you know that's where we're at. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
He's not only a talented LED light maker, but he's an amazing rock crawler too. We saw him go down and up King's Veto, which is supposedly the hardest trail out here, in his rock crawler. And so we were really impressed about that.
Wow.
It's a great team.
That's very awesome. Wonderful. Is there anything else that you guys would like to just tell people?
Well, I'd like to just thank you guys, RC Four-Wheel Drive, for all the support you guys have given us in the last 3 years. You guys have been awesome partners with us, and we've developed a really good relationship over the 3 years, and that's more and more and more. And so, I mean, we have pressure too not to let you guys down, and come to the table with a great product, and hopefully.
Yeah, there you go. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of this, I mean, sometimes when you get that added pressure and the stress is there, you know, you got to keep remembering to have fun. And I think that the RC cars help us with that. I mean, I mentioned it before about, you know, break in the shop and go RC wheeling for a couple hours. It's the same out here. You know, I'm messing with something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go drive my RC car. So
Wonderful. We appreciate that tremendously. So last question. What do you think is the percentage of fun and seriousness when it comes to coming out to the King of the Hammers for you guys in racing?
it used to be all fun all the time. And it's gotten more serious, and it got really serious, you know, after we had podiumed a couple times, and then after we won the first time especially. And then it turns into a work trip. But, yeah, I mean, you have doing your homework and the pre-running is a lot of fun. I mean, that's really a major fun part for me.
Yeah. Cameron, how about you?
Yeah, I think the fun percentage is 80%, and then the seriousness is 20%. Because we come out here, you know, the team, and we get to see the same people year after year and build those relationships and say hi to everybody. And, Chris Bird, who was a co-driver one year, he had twin boys. Now we're going to get to see those boys grow up, and so that's really fun. And just hanging around the campfire at nights, and like Justin said, pre-running, going out there, and trusting the group of guys that you're with to get through. Because when you break in the desert together, you're a band of brothers.
Yeah, very much so. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.